Up load shedding to stage 3 for the first time in 3 months. It announced that it was moving from stage 2 to 3 this afternoon. The last time this level of load shedding was reached was in November last year when the Majuba silo collapsed. Stage 2 means rolling blackouts are used to cut around 2,000 megawatts off the grid. Stage 3 allows for up to 4,000 megawatts to be shed. Now that's around 10% of the power capacity of Eskom. Well, to discuss, we're now joined by Khulu Phasiwe from Eskom on the line. Khulu, what does this mean? Deeper cuts, more areas, what's happening right now?
Well, good evening, Francis, and to our viewers as well. Indeed, the basically means that there deeper cuts, and in a sort of a localized level, what it means is that when you implement stage 3, it means that you'll be affected at least 3 times a day in a 24-hour rotational basis. So if you are supplied by a municipality, if they have a schedule which implements load shedding for 2 hours, you'll be load shed, for example, from 10 o'clock in the morning until, say, 12 o'clock, another set of hours later on during the day and later in the afternoon. So in one in one day, you will be affected at least 3 times a day.
Businesses are scared right now, Khulu. We're going to look at that story. People are scared. What is the likelihood of a total blackout?
Francis, we are doing everything possible not to go beyond the stages that we have seen so far. And our engineers are telling us that they are doing everything possible to bring back to service a number of other generators that have tripped over the last few days. And some of them, as we speak, are currently being brought back to service. And as a result, we might actually cancel or at least move from this level to maybe say level 2 or even level 1 later than initially planned, which is 11 o'clock this evening. But we are doing everything possible to not to go into a state of a total blackout.
Khulu, it sounds like you're not really sure, though. Has Eskom lost control of the situation?
The reason why we implement load shedding it is because load shedding is a controlled measure of rotating whatever available amount of energy that you have among your customers. So a total blackout is when you actually have lost control. So the fact that we are implementing load shedding, it means that the company is still in control, and that's why we're able to rotate the power that we have among our customers.
But Khulu, the load shedding does not seem to be proactive. It seems to be reactive and very erratic. A lot of people are saying that the load shedding schedules still are just completely out of whack. Analysts increasingly are saying, can't we at least give businesses and households certainty and load shed every day if you need to, but stick to the schedules and do it in a manner that creates certainty and understanding of what's going on?
I do agree with you, and we do sympathize with the customers because of the impact that load shedding is having on our lives generally as citizens, and also as businesses because of the impact that it's having on their operations. We do agree that the least that we can do as both Eskom and municipalities is to make sure that at least we minimize the impact of load shedding by having schedules which are sort of acceptable in the sense that they can be predictable. So from our side, we have been engaging with municipalities because they are the ones who ultimately will provide electricity to about 60% of South Africa to make sure that at least we have reliable schedules so that people can plan their lives around them. But we are doing everything possible, Francis, from our side to make sure that at least on a technical level that we do the requisite maintenance that we need to do on our generators so that we can avoid this disturbance that we are seeing already on the power system.
Khulu, I think that Eskom executives should really be taking this interview, be dealing with this. Are they meeting on a daily basis? Are executives at work late today when we've moved to stage 3? And where's the CEO? We understand that he has been on a trip in the States to raise funds. Is that correct?
Well, that is correct. Our CEO and our financial director have been overseas in the U.S. and yesterday they were in London to raise money for the company. People will remember that we as a company have a funding hole of about 225 billion rand. They have been going around to raise funds for the company, And I'm sure in due course they will give feedback as to how the trip went. But I can assure you that, remember, the government has established what they call a technical war room, which was set up late last year. Eskom is part of that technical war room. They have been meeting every single work day of the week to make sure that they come up with some plan to help Eskom out of the situation. And in due course, through the Deputy President, they will make announcements as to how far they have made, or what strides they have made, and what measures will be put in place to assist Eskom.
Khulu, final question. There's this huge funding gap. We know that prices are going to go up. There was a more urgent gap just to pay for diesel to keep those generators going. And government has agreed, I understand, to fill that gap. We're expecting an announcement soon when we hear the budget. But what's the cash situation at the moment? Do you have enough money to wait until those funds are released?
There are two ways to explain, to try to answer that, Francis. But basically, we as a company, there were reports earlier on saying that Eskom is going to be broke, I think, in 21 days or whatever. We as a company, on a regular monthly basis, we have a cash flow of about 10 billion rand that we get from our customers. So there's no way that we will have issues around us going broke. What we do not have is additional money for our budget. Remember, every year you put aside certain budgets for certain items. The item that we had chosen, or the budget for diesel, the budget for diesel has been depleted, which is why we were saying to our shareholder, which is the government, to assist us so that we can close that gap. And very soon, we are comfortable that the government will make a pronouncement, because it's part of the technical war room discussions, that issue as to how much they will give us so that we can buy the diesel that we need.
All right, thank you very much, Khulu Phasiwe from Eskom.